Good morning, Lagos. It's a holiday, so a lot of people are still at home. I'm blessed to know it's a holiday. I would have been stuck in traffic coming down to the office this morning, but it was good to know that there is a holiday.
You for
Yes.
sleep for that traffic safe.
Wow, man.
You for
People in
good.
Lagos are doing a very fantastic job being on the road every single day. I was coming in this morning and I saw that last mile is already on the Lagos Ibadan Expressway. I think they're going to try to help out with the issue of traffic. Traffic is gradually building up on Lagos Ibadan Expressway, approaching the long towards the end of the long bridge. Due to the diversion on the road there, so please let's be very careful, and also, please let's wear our nose masks. Do not underestimate this virus. Please, if you're going out, put on your nose masks. Do have your hand sanitizer with you. Just social distance. I see that commercial vehicles are not yet taking, the recommended number of passengers to avoid the spread of the virus. I see they're carrying full capacity. People are still, Jojo at the bus stop. Nobody's really observing this particular issue. So I'm wondering, where are all the sanctions, that were said they were put out, they will carry you, they will arrest you. Some people were putting on their WhatsApp, hey, if they not see you, they see 20,000. I don't see anything. People know your word. People know your word.
But then, in as much as we're laughing about this, I think it's something that is quite important that we need to take responsibility for ourselves for. Now, the government has been able to let us know that there is a pandemic, right? And there is a pandemic, there's a virus right now, and there's a new strain of the same virus that we don't even know of. And all we can just do for ourselves is to make sure that we stay safe. We observe the precautionary measures. And the interesting part is it is dusty right now, right?
Yes,
and
it is.
So if continually consuming this dust or inhaling this dust rather into our system is actually not healthy as well. So the nose mask is not just preventing us from getting in contact with this virus, but also in the area of dust, everywhere is dusty. Like I actually traveled and I was on my nose mask from the beginning to the end of that journey.
Wow.
Because it was more like there's some places you get to, it's a little
so
dusty.
Much dust, yes.
Then you move past there. I just had it on till I got to the house here.
And the Harmattan is here already.
Yes, Harmattan is here already. Let us try as much as possible to be safe. And it is good for us to also know that there is going to be the closure of the Lagos Ibadan Expressway. Now, this is not going to be like a closure that is going to be for the long period of 2 days. But then there's going to be the closure for going out of Lagos from 12 noon till, that's 12 p.m. now, till 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Today is 28th.
Yes.
Right? Now, going into Lagos tomorrow is actually going to be blocked from 12 noon again tomorrow till 5 a.m. the day after. So let us all be mindful. If there's going to be any form of movement that we have to do so we don't get stuck probably in traffic or we just get to meet the roadblock. So let us try as much as possible that we observe all precautionary measures and also let us observe all that is happening around us.
Corona one tao.
Yes, that's
nose marks you.
All right. So we're just going to be starting off with the newspaper headlines this morning, but you can join the conversation on 070-317-56537. We'll take text and WhatsApp messages only on that line. But then we're starting off with the Punch newspaper, which says 20 doctors' death. Nigeria Medical Association submits proposal to federal government. January 6 prevention training. And Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, nobody can pay me for my opinion, says Tunde Bakare. Child to die in Benue cult war. Boko Haram invades Borno communities, loot shops, burns churches. And Amotekun arrests 2 as Ekiti abductors reduce demand to 10 million naira. And kidnapped Kaduna Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria.
Bornu village as troop battle as WAP for hours. And also Nigeria loses 22.2 billion naira income operators of Nigeria Insecurity 2020, the most violent year Okay, Operation of Nigeria's Insecurity 2020, the most violent year in Nigeria. And SERAP asks Buhari and governors to disclose security vote spending for 2021. And River to reimpose lockdown over second wave of COVID-19.
All right, the Guardian newspaper says cement price crisis deepens in state Abuja. And airlines, travelers face fresh hurdles as new may reopen all COVID-19 isolation centers. Okay. So I'm wondering, some of all these cases that we're having, where are these people taking treatment? If we're just thinking of reopening some of these isolation centers.
Well, you need to also look at it from the fact that there are more asymptomatic patients than symptomatic patients, in terms of people who might have the virus and do not feel that they have anything. So I was reading an article earlier out of this morning how a lot of young people have coronavirus, but the older ones are dying because of their immune system.
That is what I'm saying. Now, we have the older ones who are probably getting down with this virus, right? But then the question is, some of those people who have some of these cases, that they can't probably isolate themselves in their houses.
Yes. The isolation centers were created at the initial stage of the pandemic because of it was new. With more awareness with regards to this particular virus, what the basic thing to do if you test positive to this pandemic, even if you travel out or something, you feel ill, the first thing to do is to isolate yourself. Ensure that you're taking treatment for whatever symptoms you are having. And after about a week, if you do not feel better, that is when you now you must have, that's when you now go out to say, you reach out to the NCDC that you want to carry out the test. And then when they certify that, oh, this is your condition, if you are not in a critical condition, I think one of the basic things that would be recommended is isolate yourself. That's one of the basic things that would be recommended. You know, I saw a picture on Twitter over the weekend of a mother who the son walked up to her and then asked the mother what happened. Mother said she's not feeling fine. The boy left. I went back to his room. I went to put on his nose marks. And then he was like, wow. The mother was like, I told my son I'm not feeling fine. He left my room, went to his room, I went to put on his nose marks. And I think that is
that's actually good. It means he has actually been educated well enough
for him to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So immediately she said she wasn't feeling fine. He left and immediately went to put on his nose mark and was playing back his game. So give her the distance that she needs. No spread of this virus. You know, we have to be extremely careful.
Yeah, Igbo Assembly reverses governor's power to arrest, detain at will. Tension in Enugu community over killing of monarchs by the police. And Governor Hope Uzodinma, NLC differ on payment of salaries and pensions. And next now is the Nation newspaper. You can join the conversation on 070-317-56537. It's 14 minutes past 8, and you're still listening to the newspaper review. We'll just go to the Nation newspaper now.
All right, the Nation has the headline. This says Governor Hope vows not to owe workers pensions and on pensioners. All right, and Governor Babagana Zulum to communities. We will rebuild burnt police stations. Insecurity, Abuja Monarch urges action. No ethnic consideration in promotion, says Police Service Commission. And Labour Chambers of Commerce and Industry project forex shortage to hurt businesses in 2021. And Northern elders attack Dr. Matthew Kuko for seeking Buhari's approval. The pen pushing has the headline, Coronavirus, please a Nigerian minister test positive for coronavirus. And World Health Organization warned against new global virus. I was reading up this morning from the World Health Organization Director General speaking with the fact that this is not going to be the last pandemic. And I'm like, I rebook you. And when I started reading, I rebook you, sir. This is enough for a lifetime. I haven't even dealt with this everything, and you're telling us that that there's still going to be another one.
But then I think what it is for us is, as individuals, let us just be mindful and let us up our hygiene level. Please make it a habit. You have to make it a habit to be clean. Wash your hands. I think that's one thing that we should do on a regular. Yes, if you're going out and you feel, on a normal day when you have even cold or catarrh, you don't just go to a particular place and sneeze anyhow or cough anyhow, because you know that anyone close to you might easily get that flu. So all we are just asked to do are things that on a normal day we should practice. But then you're still listening to the newspaper review on Women Radio 91.7. And we're going to be starting off with the Nation newspaper, which says no crossover nights. Osun government insists. The Osun state has reiterated its new directives aimed at curbing the spread of coronavirus. Specifically, the government said there will be no countdown to New Year ceremonies and crossover nights under whatever guise by religious bodies during the New Year Eve. And these were contained in a statement issued on behalf of the government by the secretary to the state government, Prince Wole Oyebamiji. And according to the statement, the government has directed that security operatives or to enforce the directives without exception. The government said in their own words, the ban on youth carnival still subsists. Also, all social clubs, hotel, departmental stores, supermarkets, event center, and allied centers are to henceforth operate on half of their capacity and observe COVID-19 protocol. Wearing a face mask at public places is equally compulsory. Now, we actually, in one of the headlines, I think that's on the Pen Pushing newspaper right now, we have Khan in Ogun State actually saying, oh, please, we want to hold the crossover service and all of that and all of that. Now, I think one thing that everyone needs to understand is, even if you are trying to observe these measures, there have been parties over the weekend. And I was wondering, and I'm like, okay, there's supposed to be COVID-19 protocol measures observed here. But then what is happening? Someone was showing me, like a wedding reception, and you could see everybody just clustered around everybody. And you're wondering, was talking about a second wave of COVID-19.
Okay, so there are two angles to this particular story, and I want us to look at it from the health implications of why these state governors are doing this. So I'm not totally going to agree with the Christian Association of Nigeria begging the governor for them to hold crossover service, because let's be frank, places like China, we enter the new year before we get there. There are other countries that would get into the new year, before we even think of getting into it. So I think that can be done, because the government has not said you can't hold service. They have said you should not hold crossover service. So churches where they have, and in like Lagos, for example, it's been said only 50% capacity in churches, and nose marks only 2 hours. I think that's enough. If you have an evening service, that should cover up for your crossover service. I do not see the big deal and why they are insisting on crossing at that exact timing. And if they want to, by all means. We survived this during the pandemic. We explored various means. There was a mixed radio. There was services online. There were various platforms that were being explored to be able to have these things. So I do not see the only difference is you're not going to be physically in that particular building. Which there's so many stories that have come out from some of these faith-based organizations holding Congress in the last couple of weeks, and there's so many unclarified stories yet that have come out. So I think this is an appropriate decision to take, and I think CAN should begin to hold those in its the members of the faith organizations registered under it responsible for breaking some of these laws. There is a pandemic, and some places were filled to the brim. We saw these things happen across various platforms, and what they can't say about this, CAN didn't make a single statement with regards to this particular organizations breaking these rules. And now crossover service, there is so much cry over it. I don't know. We should just be more careful about our health. And churches are filled with more people who are in their 40s and above. We have more elderly people, and these are the people that are most likely to have it more tougher in combating this particular coronavirus pandemic. So these are the things we should look at. The health implications should surpass the religious expectations that people have of the crossover service. If you're going for the crossover service, it's going to put your life in danger with regards to the spread of the virus. Why not be in your house and be safe? And whereas you go, and then you might not likely see the first quarter of the next year.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And now we move to the Nation newspaper, but you can send your messages in on 070-317-56537. Let's get your contribution this morning. And this says here, COVID-19 won't be the last pandemic, says the World Health Organization chief. And World Health Organization, who Director General Tedros Adhanom has warned that the coronavirus pandemic, COVID-19, will not be the last crisis. Tedros gave the warning in a video released to mark the first ever International Day of Epidemic Preparedness on Sunday. And he tells us that this won't be the last pandemic, and epidemic are a fact of life, he said. And the World Health Organization had said better investment in public health, supported by governments and society, could ensure that our children and their children inherit a safer, more resilient, and more sustainable world. And he added that the new coronavirus turned the world upside down over the past 12 months with far-reaching consequences for societies and economies. And he, however, said the pandemic itself was not a surprise, especially since warnings of such a possibility and of the world unpreparedness had been the issue by many times over the years.
Yes.
Now, right now, I'm happy this is coming up because this is something that we are supposed to get to know, whatever extent to which this has happened and to whatever extent it is that we are actually supposed to be prepared. And this is our reality. And he made mention on something that I think it is quite important in investment in public health.
There is a lot for us to invest more in public health. I was also reading up this morning that South Africa is the first African country to hit 1 million COVID-19 cases, and that is really worrying. How many cases South Africa has hit so far with this particular pandemic. This particular COVID-19 pandemic hit the world by storm, even though there were people gave so many. There were so many things that people raised up when the pandemic started. That this was science. People had mentioned this, Bill Gates said this person said this, there was a documentary, there was this, and all of these things collaborate with what exactly. The fact that the world wasn't prepared for this, but the countries that handled this better. Just imagine if the United, and the fact that, Africa has experienced low number of cases. I think we are blessed by God for, God knows the reasons why he has decided to just keep us safe. But this is a wake-up call for us to invest in our health sector. Enough of the basic treatment. Look at cancer. How many chemotherapy centers do we have? How many, do you want to do kidney transplant? All of this basic, I want to use the word basic surgeries that can be done in the country are not available for it to be done. There is need for heavy investment in the health sector. The coronavirus showed us that the government had not paid attention to the health sector. There had been very big loophole that needs to be filled up. Not even loophole, a pothole that needs to be filled, properly done for us to get out of this. And I think the first step in ensuring that we get it right with our health sector. In 2017, this current administration promised to revitalize 10,000 primary healthcare centers across the country. Till this very moment, those 10,000 primary healthcare centers have still not been given up, are still not properly functioning. If we can get our primary healthcare centers functioning, this would be good, because the hospitals need to be closer to the people. I was reading, there was a report one time on the dailies with regards to a community, raising money to buy a vehicle for pregnant women because of the distance they have to travel just to have a baby. And then you ask yourself the question, what is going on? There is need for government to open his arm to funds and investment as much as possible. I told the line of we need to look at public-private partnership, but a lot of people would disagree with this. But I don't think the Nigerian government has the capacity right now to rejig the health sector to the point that it needs to be.
What would you say probably the government doesn't have the capacity? Because I was actually still going to talk about the health budget, right? And, I was having already Dr. Ndubuka, and he was mentioning that if we really want to address all that has to do with, the pandemic and sustain a very good healthcare system, that we haven't actually even gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
And now you're saying, oh, the government doesn't have the capacity right now to be able to attain that. Now we understand the fact that these wouldn't just happen overnight.
Mm.
But then if we take one step at a time and we begin to see the difference, I think
Yes.
we begin to invest, we'll begin to
Okay.
see the difference no matter how little it is, which I think it's what so many people
Well, going,
actually hoping for.
well, going by the trend in which we have seen how the political space and especially the administrative arm of government has dealt with in the managerial aspects of managing resources and structures, infrastructures, I don't think they would get a pass back with regards to managing of infrastructures. And this is a major challenge. Sustainability is something that is really, really important. And that is one of the major problems of Africa. Democracy is continuum. But every time there's a new administration, there is a new agenda. So what is the blueprint that we are following? There is a budget every year. And I also think that, we need to question those who have been representing the Ministry of Health over the years. What have they effectively done? If over the years since the time of civilian government, we haven't effectively done right by the health sector. The trend of things is things were better at a particular time and it just kept going down. The same with education, health, infrastructure, rail, everything, just had this downward slide and it took a lot of work to do. So for me, I told the line of, government needs to begin to have a conversation around public-private partnership. We still have hospitals, government hospitals, where there are not enough bed spaces. Government can collaborate with private entities. This was a time for the government to really come up with a well-structured blueprint and see how they can move the health sector forward. A lot of the isolation centers they created, I believe those isolation centers should have been created close to these hospitals in terms of these infrastructures could be reused and create more bed space and later the structures properly developed. But some of these isolation centers that were used, were far away from even the government hospitals where these services there is need for more bed spaces. Our doctors are leaving this country year in, year out, going into
on a daily basis.
And doctors, nurses, pharmacists. If you find out at the traffic at which, let me use the word, how these Western countries are trafficking our doctors away from us.
Funny enough, I wouldn't say they're trafficking because we're the ones actually going.
Yes, because
we're applying and leaving. So it's not like they're trafficking. Yeah, apparently. So we're the ones looking for better.
So
apart from better life, I can remember the fact that aside from probably trying to make ends meet for yourself, right? That some of the equipment that you might need to be able to carry out whatever it is that you have studied, some of them we don't really have them in Nigeria. Right? So it's like, oh, if I really want to move forward and at this level that I am at this stage in my career that I am, then I think it's better for me to just live here and go and explore other options and all of that. So for me, I think aside from even the fact that you are probably looking for a better life, then you're also looking at not becoming stale.
Which is also very important. So the health sector needs a lot of work. Seriously, like I spoke.
And interestingly, we have very brilliant people
who
actually go.
That's why I said when it comes to the issue of management, we have individuals who are unique in their own, but collectively it's a mess. The health sector is a mess collectively. If you look at these individual doctors, they are great people. The nurses, great individuals. But as an association, look at how many times the Nigerian Medical Association doctors have gone on strike because of what? Lack of payment. These are the basic things you want to take care of because you cannot put the right structure in place and not pay the people who are supposed to be there. You can't say you are investing in the structures and you're not looking at how to better the salaries,
those
the
who are
welfare
supposed to be managing it.
Of these doctors and these nurses and all of the health workers at large. So for me, I don't think our government has even learned from this pandemic, because if we haven't learned, I don't think we have learned on what to do right with the health sector. The moment, because like we said, the closure of our borders made that attention being paid to the health sector. But the borders are reopened back. Flights are going in and coming out. So the rich who have the capacity to leave this country can go ahead and do that. But the masses are still left, to find a way around it for themselves. So we need the government to do right for the health sector, which is my opinion, is that the government should look into public-private partnership, which I think can actually bring about, speedy revitalization of the health sector.
Okay, thank you so much, Daniel. 29 minutes to 9 on Women Radio, WFM 91.7, and you're still listening to the newspaper review. We would like to get your contributions as we only take text messages on this on the newspaper review, send it to 070-317-56537. Text and WhatsApp messages on 070-317-56537. And we'll just take this headline. This is under This Day newspaper. It says bandits received 3 million for Christmas in Kaduna. The Southern Kaduna People Union at the weekend said a community allegedly paid Fulani militia 3 million to enable them spend Christmas at home. The community was chased out of their homes by the military over a year ago and has since lived in internally displaced camps. And the spokesperson of the union, that's Luka Biniat, said that the executive members had visited a Wayi community to distribute palliatives when they were told of the humiliating condition of the Kaduna community compelled to pay the militia to celebrate Christmas at home. And according to, I'm trying to read a statement now that was actually said. It says yesterday, the union took a risky venture and went to Gwagwada, an interior Wayi community in Chikun local government area. 1,600 Gwaji IDPs from 12 villages are facing severe food shortage and medical challenges after being chased out from their homes by Fulani military over a year ago. To secure the environment, that's why we'll have different vigilante groups. But then when we talk about major security, a situation where we now begin to have people themselves now trying to protect themselves, and I think there's a problem in a state, in a community, in a local government. I think there is now a problem with regards to that. And then more like these people's lives are in the hands of these Fulani militias. That is why they feel, according to the story, this is alleged. But then if this had actually happened, then this is not right. Because this is our land. This is where we're supposed to be. Then we now have some persons who are committing, who are, are inflicting pain on us. And now we have to pay them because we want to remain in our home for the festive season.
So I think first thing, when I stumbled on the headline, when I got the headline this morning, I was very careful not to interpret it in a way that that depletes the government. And these are my opinions on this particular headline. First, it's a very sensitive headline. I'm wondering, why is that headline making its way to the newspapers? What is the intentions of that headline making its way to the newspapers? What is the intelligence team doing of our country with regards to this particular level of information? That's a lot of sophisticated information on the papers this morning. What it means is that the people in these communities know this bandit.
Yes.
What have they done with this information to releasing this information to the security intelligence unit of the Nigerian security agencies with regards to information sharing and information gathering? This headline making its way to the headline, I'm being careful with it because there's so much undertone to the essence of this headline making its way to the paper. And I think the newspaper should be careful too with headlines like, as much as I would condemn the government when they do wrong, I would condemn the government with the fact that they have not been able to properly protect the lives and properties of people. But a headline like this that reads that the people in IDP camps paid bandit to spend time at Christmas. Let's read in between the lines. There is something to be careful about. I am worried of what the intelligence team of Nigeria is doing with regards to ensuring that these are very vital information, very sensitive, very, very sensitive information. If it is true, and what the Sultan said, that bandits have taken over communities. We saw what happened with the Kankara boys of Katsina State. Hearing the governor Masari saying that we negotiated with these bandits for the release of the. So there's a level of security negligence, breach, and the sensitivity of this headline worries me a lot about the future of Nigeria's security. One of they rated this year in Nigeria as one of the worst security architecture year in the history of this country, with regards to the level of activities that are going on. We're hearing these things every day. There is killings on the dailies on a single basis, and it breaks my heart to hear that the security, the police, it breaks my heart to even hear that we're not even making It doesn't look like we're making progress. It doesn't look like we're making progress. And our government needs to be more sensitive. I feel like there should be more investigation into this particular headline. And the intelligence unit, which I've always thought that they have not done a great job. I believe that one of the major problems still affecting insecurity in this country is the fact that there is no protection for information sharing and information gathering. We saw what happened to the rice farmers in Borno State, and that is a simple example of what is the protection for persons. These rice farmers, the only sin they committed was handing over one of the Boko Haram members to the Nigerian security, and that was their crime. So what is the level of protection for persons with information? And as long as we have not been able to do that successfully, we still have a long way to go with the fight.
All right. Thank you very much, Daniel, for that. 23 minutes to 9 on Women Radio 91.7, and you're still listening to the newspaper review. Now, would like to get your contribution, and we'll just take some of your text messages now. But please, your name and where you're sending your text message or WhatsApp message from is quite important. I have this one, Olushoga Ajayi from Odonla in Ukorodu says, Northern elders attack Kuka for seeking Buhari's removal. Let them continue with the deception. This is why I don't take their outcry seriously. They will cry for insecurity, and if you give them solution, they will attack you. What sort of country is this, please? Thank you very much for your contribution there. And Mike says, good morning, compliments of the season to the whole family of WFM. I'm yet to get my Christmas package as promised on Christmas Day.
What's the name of the person?
Program? This is Mike. I don't know.
Mike, it's going to be on Friday. You're supposed to come in on Friday. We mentioned that you're supposed to come in this Friday to pick it up. So I think we have about 5 winners. 5 or 6 winners. You're all supposed to come in on Friday from anytime from 9 a.m. in the morning, between 9 and 4 p.m. on Friday to pick it up. Yes, and I think Friday is going to be
that's New Year.
Okay.
All right. And I have this message. This is from Chooks from Ikeja. It says, please permit me to use your platform to once again draw the attention of my fellow Nigerians that the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic may be actually the time that the World Health Organization cautioned that the pandemic may overwhelm the underdeveloped countries. So I beg my fellow Nigerians to take the pandemic very seriously. Compliments of the season. And he also says, why should we even keep talking about security votes when we already have the likes of DSS, military intelligence, the police, the army, the air force, and the navy, and etc. And to me, that's only another window for officials grabbing without remorse. Thank you very much, Chooks from Akute, for your contribution. And I have this, this is from Adeyemi, and he's actually sending this from Satellite Town in Lagos. Says, good morning. Some lawmakers in Nigeria and Igbo smokers to jail for life imprisonment. Okay, I didn't get that. But other countries, they regulate the use of all right, they regulate the use of Igbo and they make millions of dollars from it. Nigerians need death sentence to corrupt politicians and contractors who collect mobilization for contracts and abandon it. You need death sentence, not Igbo smokers. It is misplaced priorities. Fight corruption, insecurity, unemployment, Boko Haram, and help Buhari to develop Nigeria. Thank you for your contribution there. And Sam from Ikoto says, Dan, cumulated failure of the past is exposing these our leaders. You can't respond to crisis when you are intentionally unprepared. Simple logic. We keep comparing and compacting without looking at the science, art, and logic of the comparisons. Thank you very much for your contribution there. Johnson from Imude, Elder Johnson from Imude says, good morning, my people. Bishop Kuka said if Buhari were not a northerner, he would have been outthrown by a coup, and the people are angry with him. But if he is a southerner by now, he would have been in the security net. The rubber stamp assembly members can go and apologize to the president if they like, because he is their God. All right. Thank you for your contribution there. And Mr. Wale from Peace Estate, Baroa Ipaja says, Bonjour Newspaper Review Crew. I am shocked to hear that the highest paid legislature in the world now allocates amendment allowance to themselves when they have been elected as legislatures. Next election, I'll vie for Senate. I'll vie for the Senate to make the good laws without allowance. God bless Nigeria. Thank you very much for your contribution there. Victor L. Kennedy says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. I thank God for another member of a family. I thank God for not any member of our family radio died of coronavirus. Women Radio is our family radio. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Long life WFM, long life family
Oh, and-
members. Keep on keeping on in eating WFM, drinking WFM, sleeping WFM. Welcome to Plenty One. We when I am coming to take my gift, I want. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Daniel already mentioned that already.
Yes.
You have to come in on Friday
Friday.
between the hours of 9 to 4 to get your gift.
Also, I think this year we had Rosa Jemutu get married, so we had a wedding this year. Although he didn't invite us, which we are holding him accountable for that one. But when the more blessings come, please invite us. But please, it's a family. It's a very big family. I think last year we had a baby. This year we had a wedding, so who knows? Somebody will build a house next year. Somebody will buy a car next year. Somebody would, get that visa, scholarship, whatever it is that you're looking for. So just connect as much as possible to the radio.
All right, thank you very much. Tony from Alabama says, I have advised that the members of the National Assembly need to be sent to the US for a crash program on the function of the legislative arm of government. Good morning. And all Nigerians should pause and do a soul searching and tell ourselves the gospel truth that without true federalism, the situation will not get any better, no matter how hard we try. Thanks. All right. Thank you very much for your contribution there, Tony. But I'm still waiting to get your contributions on 070-317-56537, and you're still listening to the newspaper review on Women Radio, WFM 91.7, 16 minutes. It is to 9. And I have this headline that says CSOs oppose Governor Obaseki over alleged move to graduate pupils without exams certificates. Following the outbreak of the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, that led to the closure of primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions in the country, a civil society organization over the weekend opposed the alleged move by the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, to graduate primary 6 pupils in the state without sitting for the first school leaving certificate examination. Obaseki was opposed on the alleged move by the founder, that is Chief Patrick Eholo, during a telephone interview where he threatened to sue the Edo State government if it fails to rescind the decision within 24 hours. And according to him, the alleged move is not in the interest of the Edo people, and it is a deliberate attempt to reduce education to the background under any guise and would not be acceptable.
Okay, so this year has been a pretty rough year for the educational system. Kids have had to stay at home for one reason or the other, and I agree with with the CSO that you don't just push people forward like that. I think this year, some people say don't count this year as part of your age. Well, but when we talk education in the country, we are way behind. We are way behind. So I do not agree with the governor's move. Also, I also think that there is more to be done on what level of assessment can be done. There should be a level of assessment, no matter how little. It can be oral assessment. It doesn't have to be written. There has to be a way to go about this, because we need to stop pushing just anybody into secondary school. They need to let them be certified good enough to go into secondary school. Secondary school is no joke. That is all that you need to know in your life. If you can successfully finish a secondary school, I think you can achieve anything you want to do in life. So it's important that those transiting from basic 6 to basic 7, that's the primary 6 to GSS 1, are properly equipped. They should not just be handed a testimonial without them carrying out some level of assessment. And it can be, there has to be a level. You can't just automatically promote everybody. That means even both the one that know book and the one that did not know book qualifies. And it's just
but do you know this is actually happening in some parts of the country.
So this is what you're going to
nobody actually fails anymore.
Well, I wouldn't say nobody actually fails, but what I think you are trying to say is one of the trends that I saw happen during my time when I was in primary school is a lot of people leaving primary 5 straight off to GSS 1. And why parents were doing that was beat the time, age, right? You were 9, they tell you to
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's even a different thing.
Okay.
Now I'm saying when you're marking scripts for examination,
yes,
right?
Nobody fails. I'd like to disagree with you on that.
No, what I mean by nobody fails is the fact that the school has made it a rule that nobody fails.
Well,
so even if it is obvious that this person fails, you are automatically supposed to look for where you're going to produce those figures from and pass everyone.
Well, if the parent is listening and that's the kind of school you're in, I think I would advise you to withdraw your child from such institutions because they are not doing your child any good. It's a different thing when the mindset of a school is no child should fail, and then they're ensuring that every teacher puts their best into ensuring that every child is able to succeed. But that it is now about when they are marking script and make sure they must pass, mark them to pass.
Yeah, so that's to mark everybody.
So if you find out as a parent that that's the kind of school your child is in, I think I would advise you to withdraw your child because the capacity of your child is only tested through examination. That's still one of the only ways that has effectively worked in our country. We haven't graduated from where we can, assess a child through his behavior, through his character, through his development to know if he's okay enough to be promoted to the next class. It is still through examinations. And if your child cannot be marked correctly for you to see the exact performance of your child, and to be able to justify if this child needs, if that was done for me, I'm not even sure I'll be seated here in the first place. Because the fact that they were seeing the right scores, they knew that, oh, this boy needs
help in some aspect.
So how would you know a child needs help if the child is always coming back with 60, and whereas the school is the one? Please, if you find out such schools, I think such schools should be reported.
All right. Thank you very much for that. And yes, you can still send your messages to 070-317-537. James Ogona from Mushudi says, Merry Christmas to you guys and thanks for the October giveaway. Yes, I was a beneficiary. And concerning the second wave of COVID-19, my elder sister says she no longer believes in the virus. She says it is all malaria. She believes that they are now mixing malaria for the virus. Due to the politics in Nigeria, I am becoming doubtful of what's happening regarding the virus, though I don't doubt its reality in the country. Okay, thank you very much for your contribution. Please, in as much as there is that doubt, just for us to be safe, use your nose mask.
So
wash your hands.
I think one of the things we will do is to ensure that they listen back on Radio Doctor, because if you listen to women radio, especially during the pandemic, we extensively, I want to say, use the word extensively, spoke about the coronavirus, spoke about staying healthy in this time, and we had our doctors explain how some of these symptoms are pretty similar with that of the coronavirus, but you have to get tested to really know exactly what is wrong with you. If after you have done the basic treatment you do not feel better, and then okay, now it's time to to do a more advanced test, which is take the COVID-19 test. So I don't want anybody to downplay these things. Even if you do not believe, do what is needed to be done
just for you to be safe.
Even if just do it for doing sake. And then if nothing happens to you, fine. But there are people who have observed these things and have still found themselves in this terrible situation of going down with this virus. So please, nobody, if people around there are saying coronavirus no ready, they will tell you, like one of the adults who says, do you know somebody that knows somebody? Well, I personally know one or two persons who contacted this COVID, and I saw them struggle with it. And I can, I was it's important that we find ourselves in a place where we just do what is right. Forget about, I
The
don't the
if you're
legitimacy, or
doubting it
yeah,
or
whether you
whatever
doubt
it
or
is
not.
that is behind
Mm.
it, just let go of that. But then yes, I have this text message. If so many groups from the northern part of Nigeria had previously called on the president to resign, I wonder where the difference between their call and the one made by Bishop Kuka lies. And let's be honest with ourselves, majority of the men and women at the corridors of power are actually the ones holding all down. Thank you very much, Tony, for your contribution. And Aki from Ikorodu says, Diana, I have said it many times, greedy politicians is the problem of Nigeria. Get them out, then you will see changes. I like the lady's voice in the studio. I get that. Okay, thank you very much. This is Bukola Balogun. Thank you for that. And yes, I also have this one is from Kasim, Jem Kasim from Obadore Gondo. Good morning and compliment of the season. On the issue of insecurity, Father Kuka, as one of the northern leaders, knows how to go about issues and not to heat up the already uh, heavily complicated situation. Today is my wedding anniversary. Happy wedding anniversary to you. Many, 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 many more years together with your partner.
Send our wedding anniversary package.
So,
Abi, as we are telling you, thank you. I'll be telling you congratulations, many more years. You to say, take many more years. Thank you for celebrating with us.
Wakadi from Ikorodu says, good morning. The truth is that we have not told ourselves, especially our leaders, okay, we have not told ourselves the truth, and our leaders is the reason why the country is still crawling. More like we've not told ourselves the truth, and that is why the country is still crawling. I will just take this last headline and we'll call the program to a wrap this morning. Force headquarters police storm Enugu town hall meeting, kill monarch. No fewer than 7 houses and several vehicles were razed down by protesting youth in Oruko community in the Nkwano East local government area of Enugu State on Sunday, following the killings of a traditional ruler, Igwe Emmanuel Mba, by suspected operatives of the newly formed police special weapons and tactics team. And it was learned that a combined team of soldiers, policemen, and personnel of the Nigerian Secure Suspected SWAT operative led by one Inspector Danladi shot the monarch while he was addressing the members of his community at a town hall meeting on Saturday, and he bled to death before they could get medical attention. And the policemen were said to have arrested one Mr. Agozie Ani, who was also at the meeting. And community sources said that the policemen who were in mufti and wielding AK-47 rifles invaded the venue of the meeting in an SUV and Sienna around 2 p.m. on Saturday, adding that immediately they alighted from the vehicle, they moved into the hall and sought to see the monarch. Now, this is sad that we have this happening, but then has this been confirmed that, that person or the persons involved are actually, are actually security operatives, because it was said that these people were on mufti.
Okay, so I'm very careful when it comes to issue of securities like this, and I also think the public relations department of the Nigerian Police Force has a lot of work to do with managing situations like this. By now, we should see a report by the Nigerian Police Force either debunking or validating this story, saying and telling us that legal the right actions or investigation is being taken to look into this matter. There's a lot going on with security right now, and I don't think the Nigerian Police Force should put itself in a bad light with regards to this kind of situations. We just got out of the NSAS, we're still in it. We're still, clamoring and making sure that those demands that were made are actually met. And when stories like this happen, it looks like, what have these people actually learned from all that is happening? Where our words falling on deaf ears? What exactly is going on? So for me, I would still wait on an official statement from the public relations officer of the police to that particular state or that zone which this has been accredited to give a more detailed report. But if the police fails to do this, they leave this ground, they leave this conversation very open-ended, for us to say whatever it is that we want to say, and that is dangerous to the security architecture of that region and that state.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Daniel, for doing this with me. And thank you for your contribution via text or WhatsApp message. We'll be here again tomorrow. Compliment of the season and enjoy the public holiday. Let us be mindful on the roads. If you have to go out, be careful. Use your nose mask. And also, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway over 12 noon today is actually going to be blocked till 5 a.m. A portion of the road that is going out of Lagos. Tomorrow, going into Lagos is actually the same is going to be happening at the same time, 12 to 5 a.m., 12 noon to 5 a.m. Let us stay safe and enjoy the rest of our holidays. Good morning.
We are WFM 91.7, the voice of women, using radio as a tool for women development. We condemn the abuse of women, girls, and children in any shape or form. WFM 91.7